What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and we all know about the Oscars. The Oscars are the most prestigious and probably most important award that a filmmaker can receive. After all, it is judged by actual filmmakers, so, I mean, again, who would know better about making movies than actual filmmakers? People must really like your movie in order for you to get nominated. And that's not really true, generally. I mean, obviously, something like Best Picture, Best, Director, Best Screenplay, well, technically the screenplay categories are divided into two. Yeah, that's where you mainly judge the film in and of itself. But there are a bunch of other categories where you're not really judging the film, you're judging that aspect of that film. After all, a movie can be bad, but, it can still have some great visual effects or some great cinematography. And that's what this video is going to be about. The 10 films, in no particular order, that everyone hates that got Oscar nominations. And like I said, this list is in no particular order. This is just going 1 through 10. In fact, if anything, really, this is kind of like in reverse chronological order, just going through the years. At number 1, we have Coming to America, the sequel to Eddie Murphy's Coming to America, which was really hated by everyone, really, who thought it was just a schlocky retread of the first film, while not really adding much to the characters or anything like that. But it did get nominated for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. I mean, after all, Eddie Murphy's comedies have been well known to get Oscar nominations for makeup in the past, and hell, even one win. But, like I said, just because Coming to America wasn't that good, doesn't mean you can't give some praise to the makeup. Our second film on this list is Hillbilly Elegy, and my god, I can tell you, this film is literally just angry rednecks just screaming at each other. That's literally it. Not to mention, we're following a protagonist known as J.D. Vance, and if you know J.D. Vance, he's a big Trump-supporting asshole. And so, I don't really see how I'm supposed to feel sorry for this guy. That being said, this movie actually did have a couple of Oscar nominations. One of them was for Makeup and Hairstyling, but Glenn Close also got a nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Hillbilly Elegy sucks, but even I will say, it did deserve those couple of nominations. Our third movie on this list is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Now, yes, Star Wars: The Last Jedi was very divisive as well, and maybe I'll cover that, I don't know, but it's really, The Last Jedi is more divisive than hated. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, no one was happy about that film. To many people, and me included, this just felt like it was wasting our time just trying to retcon things that happened in the previous movies, and not really focusing on trying to tell its own story to actually conclude the trilogy properly. And this film probably represents the worst kind of fan service you could ever offer. The fan service that doesn't really add anything to the story, and also doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But at the same time, this movie did receive 3 Oscar nominations for original score, sound editing, and visual effects. And as much as I don't like The Rise of Skywalker, it did deserve those nominations. Speaking of 2019, let's talk about that Lion King remake that everyone hated. How dare Disney remake their magnum opus, people said. But again, just because you hate the movie doesn't mean it doesn't deserve an Oscar nomination, and that's exactly what it got. It got a nomination for Best Visual Effects for not only having very photoreal animals, but what many people really forget about this movie is that the entire world was CGI. Everything from the grass, the trees, the dirt, the water, the sky, this was all done digitally. And while it doesn't really sound all that impressive, really think about that. You have all these different things going on at once. Lighting simulations. You have, again, plant simulations. You have moving characters, but even background animals. You have to have the sky moving. You have to have all of this work together as one, and you cannot deny, unless you're just sticking your head in the ground, that The Lion King was an incredible achievement in visual effects. Hell, it even won 3 awards at the Visual Effects Society Awards. Our 5th movie on this list is probably one that you can question a little bit, and that is The Boss Baby for Best Animated Feature. Because in judging Best Animated Feature, you kind of are judging the film in of itself, and how The Boss Baby got a nomination and yet the Lego Batman movie didn't is still very questioning to me. Back to nominations where I will absolutely defend them. Let's talk about that infamous Suicide Squad win for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Look, again, I know you hate Suicide Squad, but all these designs from the Joker, Harley Quinn, El Diablo, Enchantress, Killer Croc, this is all really interesting to look at, especially with Killer Croc. Like, I legitimately did not think you could do Killer Croc with makeup. I thought you would have to do it with like CGI because the character is just like he's half crocodile. Like how are you supposed to do that in makeup? They found a way and it looks amazing. And for anyone saying, well, about Star Trek Beyond, well, I mean, keep in mind this was the 3rd J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie, even though he didn't direct Beyond. Like, this is the 3rd film in this franchise, and we've kind of already seen what Star Trek has to offer. I mean, hell, even, you know, the first Star Trek from 2009 won Best Makeup and Hairstyling. So really, by the time Star Trek Beyond came around, it's worthy of a nomination, but in terms of winning, I feel like we've kind of already seen all of what Star Trek has to offer, or at least what most of Star Trek has to offer in terms of makeup. Number 7 on this list is 50 Shades of Grey. Yes, that 50 Shades of Grey. Despite being one of the most made fun of movies of that year, especially for the fact that the book was basically just a Twilight fanfiction that was sort of reworded to make it its own thing, and now it's a movie. The movie received an Oscar nomination for Best Original Song for the song Earned It. Number 8 on this list is The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. Look, this Hobbit trilogy really should have just been one movie, at maximum 2, because you could tell that this trilogy was paced so awkwardly. The first one felt like it was building up to something that never really came to fruition. The second film, The Desolation of Smaug, actually kind of felt balanced. It had a beginning, middle, and end. But then once you got to the Battle of the Five Armies, it was the exact opposite of the problems of An Unexpected Journey, where the Battle of the Five Armies felt like there was a ton of payoff, but no real build-up to it whatsoever. But the film did receive 1 Oscar nomination for sound editing. Number 9 on this list is one you're probably shocked got an Oscar nomination, but what if I told you it got 2 Oscar nominations? Let's talk about The Lone Ranger. When The Lone Ranger came out, it became one of Disney's biggest box office bombs ever, and those who did see it came out just hating it. Like, this was like one of the most hated films of that year. People thought it was just a Pirates of the Caribbean knockoff that was still too long. Regardless, this film did receive 2 Oscar nominations for Best Makeup and Hairstyling and Best Visual Effects, and I will die on that hill for the Best Visual Effects nomination. I mean, you just look up, like, the Lone Ranger visual effects breakdown from Industrial Light and Magic, ILM, and you can see how incredible the effects were in this film, especially for 2013. Like, I still think it may have had, like, some of the best green or blue screening of that time. And now let's get to the 10th film and final film on this list. That is Michael Bay's Transformers: Dark of the Moon. This film received 3 Oscar nominations for Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing, and Best Visual Effects. And as much as these films are pretty much just the same thing over and over again, where it's just, you know, government conspiracies and, you know, stupid sex jokes, stupid potty humor, really overindulgent speeches, all that stuff, there is no denying that, aside from all that, the visual effects and sound design of the Transformers films are nearly unparalleled. Like, they are fantastic. And if I'm not mistaken, that weird worm creature that drills into that building, I'm not exactly sure what it's called, at the time, it was the biggest CGI character ever put to film when you calculate how many pixels it had. That's what I'm saying. Just because you hate a movie, just because, you know, a movie, you think a movie is just garbage, it doesn't mean there can't be some things worthy of praise. And honestly, if you don't see that, like if you just say no bad movie should ever get nominated for Oscars no matter what, then I feel like that's kind of a bias on your part, because we should be able to look at things with you know, an examining eye, and really finding the good in some of the worst stuff out there. And that's what this video is about. So, what films were you surprised got Oscar nominations? What other films do you want me to talk about? And maybe the next time I do a list like this. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of future videos. And yeah, I think that'll about do it, guys. Bye.